Hi, I'm Mike Jacobson. With us today is Dave Peters on the Doors to Dollars uh, video. And today we've got Dave with us. Dave, I want to talk a little bit about, give us a little background on you and your family as we get into the meat of the audio. Go ahead.
Well, Mike, thanks for having me today. It's always great talking with you. Real pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity. So I am originally from upstate New York, which is where I'm sitting right now in the Adirondacks in my summer house. My wife Vicki and I have a house here. We also have a house in Ohio where we live the rest of the year. We spend about 6 months in each location. We have three boys in their late 20s and early 30s, and I am retired from the Navy. Um, So there's the Navy connection with you and I, so that's awesome. And just enjoying life.
That is awesome. And you said you retired from the Navy. Did
Yes.
when, and you said your wife and sons, so how have they grown up and transitioned through, and where are they now?
One of them is here in New York, and two of them are in Ohio. They moved a lot when they were young, and so it's good that they have some stability now, and they get to choose where they live. At this point, they're all unmarried, just enjoying their lives too.
That's awesome. And I believe you split time now between New York and Ohio.
Yes. Yeah, we come up in to New York in the late spring, stay here at the by the water, and leave, around Halloween, early November. Because it's the colors are beautiful up here when everything changes in the fall. We like to stay here for that. And but I don't necessarily want to be here in February because it gets really cold for a long time.
I certainly understand that. So, uh, so how long you said you retired from the Navy? Has it been for quite a while?
Yeah, I did 24 years of active duty service. I retired in late 2009. Then I worked for the federal government for 7 more years for the Department of Defense. Retired from that. And now I think I was, 54 when I did that. And since then, I've just been, well, along the way, I grew a rental portfolio in the Ohio area and have used those houses because has allowed me to basically be free and to not have to work anymore in the traditional sense. I do other things. I mean, I'm involved in a couple of mastermind groups and helping people out there, but I don't have a traditional job anymore, which was one of my goals.
Right. And that's how we got to know you better. I mean, between in the real estate, between some cruises and a mastermind group. And it's interesting you talked about retiring from the Navy, then worked another job for a little while, and then developed a real estate portfolio along the way. So, what were some of the dreams that you had or that you and Vicky have wanted to do? What are as you go into retirement?
Well, it's interesting because when I started this, my goal was just to retire early, because my father was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's at 61. And I remember when I was a kid, then my mom and dad talking about, well, someday when we retire, we're going to travel, we're going to do all these things. And I saw that happen. I'm like, that can't be me. I don't want that to happen to me. So I said, I got to retire early, but I didn't really know what that meant. In my mind, it was like, I just got to retire early, but I didn't have a plan, so to speak, a vision for what that actually looked like. Um, it was only later on when I came into that of the importance of writing a vision so that we could do what we wanted to do, my wife and I. But initially, it was just more of a I gotta quit my job early, but I didn't have everything in place that I needed to until I figured out, what we really wanted to do. Then once I knew that, it's like, okay, now we can, you know, write a vision for our lives, and then figure out how are we going to live that vision. What's the plan? What steps do we need to take? That's how we ended up doing that.
And knowing you, that is one of the keys, I think, for you, or it sounds like when you figured out how to do that vision, and but that was an evolving process as well, but it seems very important to you.
Yeah, I think most people unfortunately kind of meander through life without having a true plan. What I tell people, ask people is if your life could be any way you wanted it to be, what would that look like? Any way you want it to be, if it could be your perfect life, what would that be? And then write it down. And then once you know what that is, now it's a lot easier to figure out how to get there. You can come up with a plan as to, okay, I know that I don't want to work past, 50 or 55 or whatever. What do I have to have in place for that? I know that I want to be able to travel. I know that I want to be geographically independent. I want to be free. If I want to be truly free, what has to be in place to make that happen? And once I figured that out and got that vision and started working on that plan, it was amazing how fast things happened and how quickly I was able to get free. Because if I didn't write a vision, Mike, I know I'd be working till 70. I would have been working till 70 for sure.
And that's a frightening thought.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah.
So,
It doesn't, but the thing to be not get confused here is some people think, well, if you write a vision and you're not working, it's like, what is your purpose? What are you doing? Well, that's part of the vision. It's like, well, if I'm not working, what can I do in its place? What am I substituting? It's not like you just stop, you don't do anything the
right,
rest of your life. That's not it at all. It's like you get to focus and concentrate on the things that truly make you happy. That's what you're looking for.
right,
It's like, what makes you happy? How do I get more of that? And how do I do less of the things that I don't like to do that don't make me happy? That's when you start to become free.
right. So it's not like shifting into neutral and coasting. You're actually just living your life to the utmost,
I'm
just in
as
different directions. But you
I'm
have
as busy as ever, right? But
right,
doing things that I want to do that make me happy rather than, doing things that are either enriching somebody else or I mean, like working for the government, which was I'm proud of what I did and it was fulfilling, but at the same time it was not necessarily, helping me get free. So
right.
it's focusing on what you really want and doing the things that make you happy. And that's what we're doing now, Vicki and I in our lives. And it's
So what are
awesome.
what are some of those things that make you and Vicky happy now?
Well, you look behind me here and I'm living on the water. This is my happy place. This is one of the most important elements of my vision. And that is we this is a special place where our friends and family can come and just be themselves it's a safe place. It's my peaceful place, where we just come up here and we relax. You can go jet skiing, as you can see behind me right now. We got the boat, and this would not have happened again if I didn't have this in my vision and it was clear what we really wanted. And we took the action steps that we needed to do to make this happen. But this is a big part of our lives is to come here and just make it an open place for people to come and visit and just have fun, to have a good time and relax. So that's what we do here. We also like to travel. I mentioned we're getting ready to take an Alaska cruise, which is something that's been on my bucket list for a long time. It's part of my vision that says, I go to all 50 states. This will be number 50. And it's a cruise. We're going to Alaska, so it's going to be great. Really excited. We're leaving for that in about 8 days, 9 days.
That's truly exciting. And
No, and the other thing, Mike, is that we're free, right? So if you called me right now and said, "Hey, can you come help me? You know, I need you right now. We're good friends. I would be on the plane or in my car, and I'd be able to come help you because we have set up our lives to be free, to be able to help other people, and to just to not be tied down anywhere."
and that's one of the most important things I think, Dave. I mean, like you say, being able to have the freedom, to just break away when you need to. If a friend needs you, you can be there. If it's you have the financial ability to travel somewhere if you need to. It's just Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful for what we have, but
Right.
it doesn't just happen. You got to set it up. If if you don't have a vision for your life, it's like, well, you're just going to sort of potentially bumble along and get to the end and have a lot of regrets, and you don't want to have those regrets at the end.
Right.
You want to live your life to the fullest now, and you don't want to waste time. I recommend everybody read a book called The Top Five Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware, Ware. It's an amazing book, and she talks about the top. She dealt with a lot of people in hospice and at end of life stages, and she talks about what were their top five regrets, and I don't want to have any of those, and
Right.
so that it's a good book to go, well, if what would my 80-year-old self tell me to do right now? Like what would they say? I don't want you to have any of these regrets, so what can I do to change that between now and when it's over? Because we know none of us know how much time we have.
Right. And that goes into one of the next questions I had was, if you could go back 10 years or 20 years, what would you tell yourself then?
um I'm trying to keep it PG. There's some things I would tell myself, not, just don't be stupid. But I guess, don't take yourself so seriously, or don't take things so seriously. Nothing is as bad as it seems in the moment. Try to relax and chill. Focus on experiences versus things. Owning things is okay. Nothing wrong with it. But what about the experiences, and focusing on the people and your family, just like work less, spend more time with family. Certainly invest early and often in whatever it is that you think is going to be a good investment. I stocks, certainly I wish I would have got in earlier, and maybe like cryptocurrency, Bitcoin kind of stuff, even real estate. Real estate is the thing that truly has given us freedom.
Yeah.
But if I would have started that even earlier, it would have been even better. And I wouldn't have even had to work that for the federal government after I retire from the Navy. Who knows? But just investing, the most important thing is writing a vision for your life and figuring out, how am I going to live that vision? And if that's your focus, you'll make it happen somehow. God will help you make it happen, and God, it'll even be even better than you think.
That's
But you got to start somewhere, and rather than just grinding it out and hustling and all these words you hear today, it's like, no, come up with a plan, figure out how to execute that plan.
I like
And
that.
the other one is, don't be a lone wolf. Help partner with other people, do things with other people. You don't need to be doing this all by yourself. It's harder, and it's not as much fun. Get involved with other good, high quality people, and do deals together, travel together, whatever. But just that connection is what really gets me excited now.
Yeah, and that just hit on another one of our favorites is, investing together, doing deals together. I mean, you grow and learn from those experiences, and you end up learning from those other people that you're working with.
Yeah, and it's so much more fun, right? You can do a lot more. People are always like, "Well, I don't want to give up part of this deal because I want 100% of the deal." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but what if you could do a lot more deals? Is that
Right.
better? Probably." And just it's just more fun. I love working with other people on deals, and then as an outgrowth of that, you get the friendships, lifetime friendships that are far more important than any of the deals you could ever do.
That's right. The people, so the people tend to be more important than just about anything else.
Yep, for sure.
All right. So we're approaching the end here, Dave. End of
Okay.
the recording, that is. And just want to reemphasize highlight a couple of key points I think you've made. Number one is creating a vision for yourself. And I believe that includes your spouse. So you and Vicki have created your visions of the things y'all want to do together. And then You want to invest early and often, and you have used stocks, you've used real estate, you have used crypto. You've kind of evolved over the years, and you build on what you have learned in the past, and you do explore some new stuff. But the main thing there is to start early. And then you also had a book you recommended. I believe it was The Five Regrets. Can you tell us the name of say the book
Yeah,
again?
the top five regrets of the dying by Bronnie Ware.
Okay. All right. And thank you. We appreciate you being on here today, Dave. And if people want to contact you, I believe you said that they should go through me or Harland, and we can pass their information along to you if they have questions, particularly about vision. That is one of the most important things for you into defining how you want to live your best life after 50.
Absolutely. Yeah, it works. And I didn't believe it when somebody told me I should do it. I'm like, yeah, that sounds kind of touchy-feely. I'm more of an engineer. Like, I don't know, I don't think that's gonna work for me. And he's like, no, no, you need to do this. I'm like, He finally twisted my arm, convinced me to write a vision, and it changed everything practically overnight. It feels like it was overnight. But it changed my whole life. So I can't begin to explain how important that is.
All right. That's great, Dave. Thank you for being on. And everybody, if you want to reach out and get in touch, just see the comments in below. And we're at attuneinvestments.com. And also remember to download our free ebook, Three Keys to Achieving Your Retirement Dreams. Thanks. Have a great one.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Dave.